How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're talking about the top 5 cryptos I would buy right now. And some of them I am buying. I'm accumulating. I'll talk about that when we get to the cryptos. Some I'm just keeping an eye on for the next bull run. Some I've never talked about on the channel before. So I'm going to get through 5 different cryptos I like. Let me know in the comment sections what cryptos you would include on this list. Also, if you do want to trade to try to amplify your return, some of the larger cap cryptos that we're talking about here today are over on Margex. So for example, I have this Bitcoin long up 218%, something crazy, 218%. I took half the profits out yesterday, but you can check out the link underneath the video. You get a deposit bonus on Margex, and you can also check out Blofin as well. They're giving away a free iPhone, and they also have some of the most trading pairs out there. So if you want to trade a lot of different cryptos, that's a good place to go. If you have one of them, I would suggest getting another one. A lot of people just have one trading account, but if something were to ever happen to it or the site goes down when there's a lot of volume, sometimes exchanges go down, you want to have access to another exchange. So definitely check that out. The last thing I'd want is for Elon Musk to come out and say he's buying some Bitcoin, then for you to have all your sites crash and you only have 1 or 2 maybe. So check out those underneath the video. I have great codes for you underneath there too and links so that way you can get some extra stuff. Now, just a warning, some people get pissed off when I talk about the market before getting right into the cryptos. I'm going to have to set up this video. I'm going to tell you why the market is really bullish right now, why it's not too late, why this is kind of the perfect setup. So there's going to be some preamble to the crypto pickings, but you want to stay through that because it will give you conviction in buying crypto right now. Now, I say that there's like a demon candle coming. Most people talk about God candles, massive moves. Of course, like I've said, we've seen $16,000 moves through Bitcoin over a couple weeks. We are going to see moves that bewilder people. People are going to make 10x overnight. They're not even going to realize that they're millionaires. People are going to make 20%, 30% on Bitcoin in a day. We're going to double Bitcoin's price probably in a couple weeks at some point. There are going to be unbelievable gains made. And if you haven't been through a bull market before, you're going to make so much money. You're going to have the craziest emotions you've ever had. I mean, think about this. If you use something like Margex or Blofin or you're long on Bitcoin, right now people are getting excited showing their gains because they're up. Maybe they bought Bitcoin at 36,000 on a long and now they're at 36.5. So maybe they made like 200, 300%. Imagine a $15,000 move over a couple days. Imagine how much money that makes people. It's going to be nuts. If you haven't been through a bull market, your emotions are going to be places you've never even known they could go. You're going to be, at some point, the most excited you've ever been in your life. You're going to think you've made it. You're going to think that you don't need your friends or family anymore. Some of you will think that. I know people that have had that. They think they made so much money. This dopamine's all that I need. It's not. You're going to have some of the lowest lows at some point too, most likely. You're going to lose more money than you've ever lost in a day at some point during this bull market, most likely. You're going to send your crypto to the wrong wallet. You're going to get scammed. I did a video yesterday talking about some of the common scams. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's the warning video from yesterday. There are going to be people that really, this is dark, but there are going to be people that get scammed and want to drive themselves into a tree. I've talked to people over the last week that have had that happen. So keep your emotions in check. Whenever something good happens, realize that it doesn't last forever. You probably want to take profits. Whenever something bad happens, make sure that you are safe. Make sure you take out your aggression in a safe way. Just know that there are going to be huge emotions. There are going to be God candles, ungodly candles, demon candles, whatever you want to call it, during the next bull run. Now, I'm going to get back to letting you hear about more of the cryptos, but I wanted to just give you that warning. Like, just be ready. This is going to be the craziest time of your life over the next 2 years, in my opinion. Today, we're talking about the top 5 cryptos I'd buy right now. I'm going to have another crypto personality, someone that you guys probably know and like, in the video later this week. That's going to give his top 5, top 10 maybe. The ones that I have are going to be personal to me. The ones that I like. Now, the ones I'm talking about in this video, I hold all of them in some amount, right? Why would I be talking about how bullish I am on them if I didn't actually hold them? I think that makes sense to a lot of people. But I'm not telling you to go out and buy these because your situation may be different. I don't know how much money you have. I don't know your investment risk appetite. So you have to do your own research. However, these are the ones that I'm really looking at for the next bull run. These are the ones that I've been buying over the last couple weeks, couple months, and even couple years. Now, like I said, there are some new ones on the list. I have been a big proponent of being highly invested in Bitcoin versus alts. Now we're getting to a point where I think dominance is close to topping out. In the next 6 months, I think it will top out. We're already seeing alts run pretty heavily. Some obviously are beating Bitcoin, and some are just maybe underperforming a little bit, but I want to have a position in them so that way when inevitably people try to funnel money from Bitcoin into altcoins, I have a position. Now that means I have to be in the top narratives because not everything is going to go up as much as Bitcoin, right? A lot of altcoins are going to underperform because a lot of money is going to flow into Bitcoin. Let's be honest. When the spot ETF gets approved and we have people constantly flowing money into Bitcoin and maybe to Ethereum too, but especially to Bitcoin, it's going to outperform more than I think it has in previous bear markets. But the coins where people take their Bitcoin that they actually physically held, maybe not physically, but they had it as an individual investor and they want to go get a bigger return, there are going to be coins that outperform significantly. We're going to have a massive bull run, in my opinion. Even the last couple of days, right? The price action has been fantastic. We're in a very bullish market. Some people want to know, though, what should we buy, right? Is it too late for Bitcoin? Now, before we talk about that, I do want to just give the setup for cryptocurrency. Right now, we have a economy that is actually doing quite well. GDP is higher than expected. It's at like 5%. We have great jobs numbers coming in, consistently low unemployment rate. We have inflation coming down. So everything is set up really well for the economy. Now, we also have a Fed that has raised rates at a very fast rate. They realize things will continue to break if they keep rates high. So they want to lower rates, right? They don't want high unemployment rate if inflation's coming down. Their primary objective is to get inflation down, and it has been coming down. So if they can get out of this without having to have high unemployment rate and destroy the economy, they're going to do that. So we have an environment where lower rates will push up higher risk assets. Now we'll get to my top cryptos in a second, but we're in that kind of environment where it's almost the Goldilocks scenario. A lot of people are bearish on the next couple of years on the economy. And what I find is most of the people that are bearish are people that have money or people that have lived through big market crashes in the past. They kind of have a PTSD. For younger investors, it's best to continue to buy assets in times where there's uncertainty. Because if there was certainty, the prices would be higher. So at a time where you're still trying to accumulate wealth, this is a very good time when the whole economy is looking good, but half of the people out there say, I don't know, I don't really want to invest that much money in the market right now. I have a lot of cash right now. That's typically a good time to be bullish. That's a good time to invest. Now, of course, we could see drops, but like I said, the Fed is probably going to start lowering rates next year. People are going to pile out of record high amounts of money on the sidelines and pile into risky assets. We also have, as I said, a very strong economy, so that's going to be good too. We know that the U.S. is in a ton of debt, and really there are only a couple different ways they can get over that. One is to increase GDP or increase the amount of taxable revenue. The other thing is they can raise rates, or they can raise tax rates. So they would rather have growth and then just tax the same amount so that way people don't get pissed off, as opposed to no growth, a stagflation, or an economy that's not growing and then just tax people more. The other thing that they could do is spend less, but they're not going to do that. So we know that they're going to continue to offer huge amounts of cash to get votes. And that's another reason that crypto, specifically Bitcoin, is quite bullish, because there is a fixed supply. So people will see that and flood over to Bitcoin. It's the only thing that has a truly fixed supply. I'm talking to people yesterday when I was playing basketball that are in their 60s, in their 70s, have huge positions in the market, have large amounts of cash or bonds, treasury notes, and they're thinking about buying Bitcoin for the first time ever. Even last bull run, they weren't thinking about it. At the top, they weren't thinking about it. They didn't want it. It's foreign to them. They don't understand the benefit. They don't understand why someone would want it. They think it's fugazi. But after enough time, you get whittled down. You get beaten down to the point where you start thinking, is this an asset that I actually want to buy a position in? There's got to be something here. And then you start digging deeper and deeper and deeper. I actually have a crypto for beginners playlist. If you haven't seen that, see it. Go watch it. It helps try to explain some of the benefits of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I realize I'm getting on a tangent here, but it is important to set up the backdrop for why we'd want to buy crypto now. Now, I'm not coming into crypto right now that the market's up. I've been in crypto. I've been in for years. And throughout the entire bear market, I made pretty much a video a day. There were probably 1 or 2 days that I didn't make a video, but other days where I made multiple. I made a video a day. Throughout the entire bear market, I was ringing the bell that I was buying. I was ringing the bell that now is the best time to buy. And now people are starting to come back in the market. So that's why I make these videos, because now people are looking at cryptos to buy. I still think there's a big opportunity. I don't think it's too late for Bitcoin. Let me give you a couple reasons why. This is my first coin, Bitcoin. I realize collective groan from the audience that I talk about Bitcoin a lot, but I love Bitcoin. It's the least risky of all these assets, and we continue to see so many bullish things come out. I have to mention it on the list. We have whales continuously accumulating. Is this BlackRock? I don't know, but they are buying with deep pockets. We're talking about hundreds of Bitcoin a day, sometimes almost 1,000 Bitcoin a day, dumping into this wallet, and this has become one of the top 65 wallets in the last 32 days, 33 days. So they are just accumulating massively. And we have other people accumulating. It's not just one random wallet that has 500 million in it. We have 12 spot Bitcoin ETFs waiting for approval. GBTC holds about 615,000 Bitcoin. We have roughly 1.8 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Couple 100,000 of Bitcoin will be sold for fiat profit. Maybe a little bit more than that, right? Maybe 500,000. Deeper pockets, though, aren't selling. People that have a lot of Bitcoin probably aren't as likely to sell as someone that maybe has 3 or 4 Bitcoin. That's roughly 166,000 Bitcoin per ETF. I'm sure Larry wants to hold at least 500,000, ultimately hold more than GBTC. MicroStrategy will go down, going into this bull run with 175K BTC, more than most ETFs, with another 750 million waiting to be deployed. You have to remember, too, there will be other people that come into this, whether it's countries, whether it is Tesla finally announcing that they're willing to take Bitcoin as payment or buying some more, maybe something like that. There's also just the fact that the price is going to spike up. Like when someone buys 20,000, 50,000 Bitcoin, the price spikes up, right? If they buy it OTC or over the counter, it basically means that they're, in a nutshell, they're buying it from someone else that's selling it, but it's not on the open market, so it doesn't just dump and then pump up the price or whatever. They're buying it, so someone is selling it. They're accumulating, but it also takes sell pressure away from the market. It also takes Bitcoin away from weaker hands, which means that it's more likely to push up the price eventually because there's less supply out there that's going to be traded. So, however they get the Bitcoin is going to be bullish long term. Now, there will be people that ape in and push up the price. We're going to have huge movements in Bitcoin. It's not going to be, $100 a day or even the last couple of days, right? People are super bullish and it went up like $1,000. That it's crazy because we're at maybe 20-month highs and that it seems super bullish, but we moved up $1,000. We can see much quicker moves than that. In the last bull run, we moved up $16,000 in 2 weeks. So imagine $1,000 a day for 2 weeks. We could be in the low 50s, mid 50s by Christmas, by a week and a half before Christmas. That's crazy. You have to remember, too, that the supply is changing. Today, one Bitcoin is mined every 96 seconds. The last Bitcoin will take 35 years to mine. Now, that's 80 years away, right? The start of mining this Bitcoin is 80 years away. So some people watching this channel are going to see that last Bitcoin start to be mined. That's going to be crazy. That's crazy to say, but I'm sure there's a 10-year-old out there that watches this. The last Bitcoin will take 35 years to mine. Now, you have to remember in the meantime, there's going to be more Bitcoin mined, but it's going to go from 96 seconds to 192 seconds. And then it's going to be twice that. It's going to continue. So when we look 20, 30 years down the line, I know I'm talking about a long time here, but 20, 30 years down the line, it's going to take a very long time to mine a Bitcoin, like 1 Bitcoin mined a day, less than a Bitcoin mined a day in 30 years, 40 years. So we've had 93% of the supply hit the market over the last 14, and the price has exploded. What happens when it continues to get cut down? There's no one really selling, no new Bitcoin that's being sold from miners. It's going to take away one of the largest sellers that constantly sells to try to fund electricity, to pay people and that kind of thing. Halving progress is also at 90%. So we are very close to the next Bitcoin halving. Typically, when we've had a Bitcoin halving, price does really well. I've showed this a few times over the last couple days, but 2012 Bitcoin halving, the price 2.5x. 2016, it went up about 4x. The last time it went up about 6x. Will we go up 6x this time? I don't know. I mean, we're at 40,000. That'd be a $240,000 price. That's 1 year after the Bitcoin halving. That's really bullish. Now, typically, it actually runs for another couple months to 6 months after this point, after a year after the halving. So usually we run about a year and a half into going to the next peak after that Bitcoin halving. So that makes sense. I mean, we topped out more than 58,000. We topped out at like 67, 69,000, something like that. So we could see a higher price yet than $250,000. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. So I'm going to be taking profits along the way just to be safe. But I think you can't just think that Bitcoin's old grandpa Bitcoin. We could see explosive moves. I mean, just yesterday, we had 600 million in shorts liquidated in one candle. That pushed up the price $1,000. We could see way more of that during the bull market, and we will see more of that. Now let's move on to the next crypto, Solana. I talked about Solana a lot. I've been very bullish on Solana. Now, during the FTX thing, I didn't know how much FTX was going to dump. I have been talking about how I wanted to build a position in Solana since maybe $12, $13, but I was going very heavy on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin has gone up in dominance. So, like, if you could have invested in a basket of cryptos that are not Bitcoin, like every single cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin, you would have done worse than if you had just bought Bitcoin. So, it was the right decision in my mind. Now, I still missed out because Solana did a 6, 7x from bottom, something like that. And Bitcoin has done a 2.2x or whatever it is. It's gone up 120%, 130%. So I did miss out on Solana a bit. I do have a small position. I got paid in Solana for something and just kept it. But I do think Solana is going to do well during the next bull run. Recently, Coinbase said that they plan to integrate with Solana. The company wants transactions on its platform under 1 second and under 1 cent. To do that, Coinbase will integrate Lightning on Bitcoin and other layer ones that are very fast like Solana. There could be other cryptocurrencies as well as Solana. But if we see another bull run, right, there's going to be a lot of transactions. We're already seeing Ethereum fees move up to maybe $15, $20 right now. So they're moving up from the $1 or $2 they were at the bottom of the bear market. They're moving up. They're getting expensive, and we're not even to a very frothy time. Sure, some people are transacting, but it's not going to be anything like the bull market. We need something cheap. I've used Solana. I've used Polygon. I like both of them. Both of them are extremely cheap. Solana, I think, is a little bit less clunky and a little bit cheaper even yet than Matic. You have to realize, though, that the market cap is also much higher. 27,000 versus 7.5 billion. 27 billion versus 7.5 billion. So we're looking at almost a 4x. Keep in mind, though, still so much smaller than Ethereum. 1 to 10 ratio there. So if there's going to be one winner outside of Ethereum, at this point, it looks like it's Solana. Now, let me just take a second to say that I'm not including every crypto that I'm bullish about on this list. I want to keep it somewhat brief, right? I don't want a 40-minute video like some people do. I like the 20-minute videos or so. So there are other cryptos I could list here. Like XRP is interesting to me. Now, some people are super bullish on XRP, right? They think it's going to go up 10,000x, for example. I'm not so sure about that. That would put it as at a huge market cap. I mean, we're talking about $330 trillion. I don't think that's likely to happen. But I do think a lot of cryptos are going to do well during the next bull run, and XRP is set up to look pretty good. Now, it is a larger market cap already. I mean, it's $33 billion. So when you take out stablecoins, it is the fourth largest crypto out there, and will probably surpass BNB soon, I think, because of some of the problems at Binance. Keep in mind, Binance is still a powerhouse, and now they've gotten a little bit more of a regulatory green light from the US. But there are cryptos like XRP that I like. I like Polygon. Even DOT is interesting to me during the next bull run. Floki is an interesting one because they're actually building a lot in the background, which a lot of people don't realize. So there are other cryptos that are interesting to me. There are some small cap ones too that I'll be talking about in a second. But then there are super degen ones I've been putting a little bit of money in, partly because it's fun, partly because I think they could actually do pretty well. And I think there's a good risk reward there. One I made 50% in the last 2 days on. Now, I do want to say if you are bullish on XRP, we'll get to the other cryptos here in a second. But if you are bullish on XRP, you can use Margex to trade XRP. There's a link underneath the video to Margex, as I said earlier. And you can use all different kinds of collateral. You can use USDC, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Even if you want to trade on something like 5x leverage, something that's a little bit safer, you could try to get those bigger gains in XRP. And there aren't a lot of exchanges that allow XRP trading right now. Still, Margex and Blofin are non-KYC, and you don't need a VPN either. So again, a lot of people wonder if you can use it. There's no KYC right now. So you can trade here if you're interested. Now, the next crypto, right? We're talking about Solana, how it is a better form of Ethereum. I still think you have to look at Ethereum. We'll get into the two low caps in a second, but ultrasound money shows that we are still burning Ethereum since the merge a year and a half ago, almost. We've still become deflationary for Ethereum, which means it's harder and harder to get your hands on Ethereum. There is Ethereum being burned, and the supply is actually going down. Now, people are still going to use Ethereum. It's the most widely adopted. So the next bull run, fees are going to go up, and it's going to become very deflationary. Probably 1%, 2%, 3% deflationary, which means whoever wants to buy it is going to have to buy from a decreasing supply, and not just on exchanges, a decreasing supply overall. And this will force up the price. We started to see a bit of a move yesterday in Ethereum. I think people will buy Ethereum too. JPM is using Ethereum. JPM's Ethereum-based Onyx blockchain and the bank's tokenized collateral network was used by BlackRock to tokenize shares in one of its money market funds. This was just a few months ago. So there are large players that will use Ethereum. There are large entities that want to buy Ethereum. For example, JPM's talked about, I believe it was JPM talking about how Ethereum could be a $40 billion a year staking business. So there are large banks that want to offer this to their clients because it gives a yield. Now they could do that with other cryptocurrencies too, but they want to give a yield to their clients and give them access to crypto. So investing in one of the largest cryptos that gives a natural yield. It's not like they have to take Bitcoin in and then go lend it out like so many crypto companies did the last bull run. They can just use Ethereum, stake it, pay the 3%, 4%, 5%, and that will be more attractive too when rates start to come down. Think about that. When people can't get 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% on their savings accounts, they might start looking into risk assets and then think, wow, this asset has gone up 100% this year and it pays a yield. So I could have made essentially 8% instead of 4%, which is what it actually pays. I could have made an 8% yield essentially. So people will look at that. Large money will look at that. Now, Moving on to something that large money is not even looking at right now. Something that's a little bit more degen. Something I've been talking about a lot. Seedify. Now, I have talked about this a lot. Some people are groaning recently because I've talked about it a lot. There's going to be a crypto that I'm talking about after this that I've never talked about on the channel. But Seedify is really interesting to me. And a lot of people don't know this. They don't just launch Web3 gaming. Recently, in the last week and a half, they do Web3 tech launches as well. They say, yesterday we launched PlexusFi, or PLX, a cross-chain DEX swap aggregator. It allows you to buy any token from any other chain with one click. It optimizes speed and cost. Very useful tech in my opinion. I mean, think about that. For the next bull run, this is perfect. People are going to wonder, how do I even buy something on BSC with Ethereum? Or how do I get crypto into my wallet when I don't, or crypto on my wallet when I don't have enough of that other asset to transfer it out, like Ethereum? This is stuff that went through my head early on. Like the first couple weeks that I bought crypto, I didn't understand the transaction fees. I didn't understand that you need extra crypto in your account to do transactions, to send crypto. So something like this could be really easy to use for newer investors. This is something that could be really useful when we're onboarding tens of millions of people new into crypto. Something like this. Now, I also think just in general, Seedify will do really well because people will get greedy and want to jump in on gaming. And there's some really good looking games out there. Apologize for my voice too. Coming over a cold, mostly done with it, but decided yesterday was a good day to work out and worked out very hard. So my lungs are feeling it today. But let's move on. So Seedify has some awesome games. I mean, let me scroll down to this. This is a trailer recently, or a video by Gorilla. Haven't heard of Gorilla before, but it has a big audience over on Twitter at least. I'm not sure about YouTube. But look at this gaming from Seedify. Like, they're going to be launching games that are actually going to be used, in my opinion, by the masses. People are going to want to get in early on these games after they see a couple do well, because this is one of the big narratives for the next bull run, gaming. Crypto gaming is just better. The games aren't better, but the theory behind it at this point is better. Giving players assets that they can hold, that they can pull out of the game. That makes sense to me. I think that's going to be a big narrative. Even if it doesn't materialize, that's a narrative. That's something that people are investing in actively and will probably continue to invest in throughout the entire bull run. So people are already piling money into this. I bought around $1.10, and then I've been adding pretty much all the way up. Now, the last couple days, it has gone down from about $2.50 down to $2.26, so it has gone down 10%, but it's been on a tear over the last month and a half, maybe 2 months. But this is something people will ape into because you need S-Fund token to be able to get in early on some of the token launches for games. So I'm really bullish on Seedify. I have been building it into a larger position. This is actually now my third largest position behind Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I'm probably going to add more to it as well. Now, just a little tip. I had someone ask me how to buy a crypto recently. This is going to be important on the next crypto too because it's not very available. Just scroll down. Whenever you're on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, scroll down and you can see where to buy the token. So KuCoin, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, a lot of these aren't available for people in the US. A lot of the time, the smaller cryptos, because they're on smaller exchanges, or just maybe like one exchange that's not available here in the US because they do KYC. But Seedify is pretty readily available. I just go over to PancakeSwap and transfer there. I do USDT to S-Fund for anyone that's interested. It's low fees, but there are other ways to do it too if you have other exchanges. A lot of people, when they see something like this, they want to buy the whole time that it's spiking up. But as soon as it starts to cool off a bit, when it starts to consolidate, they lose interest. This is still very bullish. The fact is, people are seeing the narrative. People are understanding why they want to buy Seedify. In the last couple of days, it's just been consolidating. It made a 4x move in a month and a half. So something like this, some people are like losing interest. I think of this as extremely bullish. This is a time where you can buy before the next big pump. You can buy and dollar cost average in over time. The chart is still very bullish, and it's still at a market cap that I like. Now, is this as good as when I bought it a month ago? No, of course not. It's down. It's up 100% since then. But do I think it's too late? No way. No. I think this is going to be well over $1 billion market cap in the next bull run. And losing interest because it's gone sideways for a week is one of those things that newbie investors do. In a bull market, which I think we are in a bull market, we're heading into a bull market. Typically, it's the best time to buy Bitcoin 6 months before the halving and then sell it 18 months after the halving. So we are in that period now. In a bull market, dips or sideways consolidation on projects you like, they're meant for buying. I made a video saying that like last week we fell down to 36,000 maybe from 38 and people were bearish. They thought we were going to go back down. We could have, but I said dips are meant for buying. You have to change your mentality in a bull market from a bear market. Dips are not meant for buying during the bear market. Now, if you're dollar cost averaging, great, you're going to come out ahead. But dips are meant for buying in a bull market, especially this time in the bull market, right? We're not towards the peak and then we fall down 20%. And then you're wondering, should I put in a lot more money? No, we are in a very early stage. Everything is setting up perfectly, as I said in the beginning of the video. So something like this, I really like. I'm not telling you you should go buy it. You have to make your own decision. But this is one that I am buying and buying a good amount of right now. This is one that I've never talked about. It's smaller yet than Seedify. Seedify is still a $125 million market cap. We're going to talk about blockchain bets. Now, I'm not the first person to talk about this. It's actually a crypto that Alex Becker invested very early in. It's done a 5x over the last 2 weeks, basically. The volume has pumped up to millions of dollars a day, or just a $500,000 over the last few days once it settled down a little bit. Before that, volume was 1/10 that. It was like 50,000 a day. So it's not super liquid right now. It's not super big either. It's a $27 million market cap. Now, what is this? It's a online casino and sports betting website. Now, in the US, I know that there are some crypto websites that you can't use that are in crypto gaming. Like, for example, Rollbit. Rollbit is much bigger. It's 20 times the size of Blockchain Bets. Blockchain Bets is smaller though. There are not as many users at this point, but they do have a decent amount of active users, 3K. They have decent volume, and they seem pretty legit. They seem like a good project to invest in that's, I think, a lot smaller than something like Rollbit, obviously. And keep in mind, Rollbit has also done really well recently. Like, it's moving up to new highs pretty consistently. I think there's going to be a huge narrative in crypto gambling, just like in crypto gaming. And while we see a lot of people going into Rollbit right now, it's done extremely well, right? We're talking about 10x from 7 months ago, 8 months ago. Eventually, people will see that. It'll be maybe 5 billion, 10 billion, and they'll say, oh, that's huge. What can I invest in that's smaller? What's something that can give me more gains? And at that point, you come over to Blockchain Bet, see it's 20 times smaller. They can do some marketing. They can do some stuff to get some more players in during the bull run too, make their numbers look much better. And people are going to funnel money into this. At this point, it is still a smaller market cap too. So if someone goes and buys $10,000 worth of this, it's going to push up the price. If people buy $100,000, it's going to push up the price. Now, some people would say, no, it's not. It's only going to push up the price like a thousandth of a penny or less than that, because 10,000 is so much smaller than 28 million. You have to remember that not all of this is liquid all the time, right? There's only a small amount of liquidity on something this big. So when you end up buying a big chunk of it at one time, it pushes up the price. I know that there's $700,000 worth of volume. Maybe let's go into the last 7 days, right? There's a decent amount of volume, 4 million, 3 million, 500,000. The fact is, a big buy can push up the price very quickly. Even with this kind of volume, a big chunk of buying can push up the price, and then other people see it, other people pile on, they're trying to get in on it because of the technicals, and it can spike up. I mean, we saw like an 8x over the last couple weeks. So the fact is, it can go up very quickly. So that's another one that I've just started to allocate towards. Still a small portion of my portfolio. like under 1%, honestly. It's under 1% of my portfolio, significantly under 1%, but I started to allocate towards it, and I plan on buying probably small amounts of it from here on out as a nice way to get into the gambling crypto space. Now, let me know what I've missed underneath the video. Of course, like I said, I can't cover all of them. There are cryptos that I like that I didn't include in here. There are cryptos that I really don't like, but I won't tell you those at this point. Let me know if there are any cryptos that you're accumulating heavily in the comment section. Again, if you haven't already signed up for Margex or Blofin, check them out underneath the video. I realize they're not right for everyone. Some people just want to stay away from leverage, especially depending on your personality. I get that. But for me, it has been a nice way to work on technical analysis, to have some money on the line. And I've been doing quite well. And I'm not getting greedy. I'm not doing a couple percent of my portfolio in a trade. Some people do that. Some people put 10, 20% of their trading portfolio or their entire portfolio into trades. I am not that risky, but the trades are going really well. If this continues, I may start putting more in, and I'm not going to get greedy, right? I have a system set up to start putting in a little bit more, and I will continue to stay in the profit. Like at some point, I could just take everything that I've made, or all my initial investment, and just keep everything that I've made in the portfolio because I've done extremely well from these trades, making hundreds of percent. I could still start with multiples of what, or I could start over with multiples of what I started with just my profits. So at some point I may do that and start scaling up my trades a little bit more. So if you want to do that, you can check out the links underneath the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.